Good evening, everyone,
Hello.
and welcome to the May 19th meeting of York City Council. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Rivera,
Here.
Washington,
Here.
Ritter Dixon,
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Nixon.
Here. And we're all accounted for and present. We need to have action on the minutes from April 20th. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes of the 20th as distributed? Hearing none, all those in favor accepting the minutes of the 20th, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next legislative meeting of York City Council will be on Tuesday, June the 1st. And then after that, we will be on summer recess. So the following meeting will be on July the 20th at 6 o'clock, and it will also be a Zoom meeting. All agenda items for the July 20th meeting are due by noon on May the 26th. Now let us go to the introduction of bills. Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Walker needs to introduce that.
So introduced.
That's bill number 13, introduced by Sandy Walker, a bill making an appropriation for money not otherwise appropriated in the amount of $600,000 for replacement of the Pennsylvania Avenue Bridge.
And being a bill that will sit until our next meeting on June the 1st. Next bill is introduction of bill number 14.
So introduced.
Bill number 14, introduced by Edwina Washington, a bill amending the 2021 budget in the amount of $40,222 for a JAG award.
And once again, that is a bill and will sit until June the 1st. Next, we have bill number 15.
So introduced.
And that is bill number 15, introduced by Lou Rivera, an ordinance amending Article 933 sewer rentals of the codified ordinances to establish alternative fees for wholesale customers without sewer service agreements.
And that will sit until June the 1st. Fourth item is introduction of bill number 16.
So introduced.
Bill number 16, introduced by Sandy Walker, a bill amending the 2021 budget for conveyance of the parking system from the general authority to the city of York.
And that will sit until June the 1 also. Before I ask for a consent agenda, motion for consent agenda, are there any public comments on any of the items 5 through 13?
There were none received via email, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Kern?
Nothing here.
Nothing here. Very good. Council, is there any item that you wish to pull for further discussion? I don't hear any. Therefore, I'd like to ask for a motion to consider a consent agenda for items 5 through 13.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Now I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Rivera,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Ritter Dixon,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Nixon.
Yes, and they are so ordered. Lastly, we have resolution, which is item number 14, accepting the recommendations of HARB.
And that's Council.
So introduced.
Resolution number 58, introduced by Queen Washington. And that is, just need 1 second, sorry. A resolution accepting the recommendations of HARB and approving the application submitted by Sandy Walker for work to be done at 46 South Pershing Avenue.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I just need to abstain, of course.
Would you give council the reason for your abstention?
Yes, I am president of the organization that owns 46 South Pershing Avenue, Veterans Helping Hands.
All right, council, are you in favor of allowing this abstention?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, very well. Now, is there any discussion? Do you have a representative for this?
They were supposed to be here, but I'm not sure if,
If they are here in the attendee list, and you that would like to speak, you need to press *9 on your phone or press the raise hand button. Sandy, do you see them in the attendee list anywhere?
no, I just clicked on it. I don't see them here.
Well, in the meantime, why don't you go ahead then, Ms. Walker, and give the explanations?
Yes, so with the windows, we're going to be replacing the windows, and the recommendation from HARB is to replace the rear windows with the material that we would like to replace the entire sections from the front to the side in regards to our windows, which is a vinyl gem material. You can't really tell the difference. It cost us about a $5,000 difference. And so we would like to use that funding to work on other parts of the building because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. All volunteers are doing this. We are just paying for the actual replacement of the windows.
Right. And would you familiarize, goodness, what's that? Would you familiarize all of us and the public on where this building is and would describe it briefly
Yes.
for us?
Yes, so it's 46 South Pershing Avenue, and it's right near the transit station for Rapid Transit, where they're actually doing renovations as well. It's going to be a drop-in center for veterans, and we are just trying to get things done one thing at a time. Windows are a big issue and a big financial expense. And so for our organization, being a small organization, we want to get the work done to make the building appealing and appeasing to the eye. And so we're knocking it out one thing at a time. We have a volunteer group that is going to help us with this, and they are raising the funds to cover the expenses for the windows.
Thank you. We have Mr. Zumbrun, who's joined us. And would you please explain why HARB declined the
application.
Yes, the
as
application.
presented. Right. We have had numerous cases over the last several years to replace street front windows with vinyl products. And the board has held a line and has never recommended to council the permission to use vinyl products. There are a couple of reasons. The first reason is that the dimensions that are offered in vinyl almost never can come close to meeting an appropriate historic window dimension for styles or for any of the features of the window. The windows that are being replaced in this case happen to be steel windows. We have, on the other hand, permitted and recommended to council approval of the use of vinyl products where it's not visible to the public right of way, the main public right of way. In this case, this building has a western view that looks towards the Codorus, and we were recommending use of that product there. The other reason that we've been really firm on vinyl products, we have on our board an architect, a historian, a codes enforcement person with that kind of experience and a fair amount of construction experience with the other people on the board, as well as realtors. And in all of our opinions, vinyl products in our climate do poorly. They are cheaper, but they are not weather resistant to our temperature extremes. And we've found in many cases in York that use of vinyl fails because of weather, because of extreme heat, solar exposure, within sometimes as little as 2 years. And we understand that the marketing and the cost factor up front is very attractive, but that in reality, it's not a long-term solution to a problem. And instead, we've suggested the use of materials like a composition material. Fibrex is one of the company's brand names of that product, or wood that is clad with aluminum, or wood, or steel. But we have never recommended the use of vinyl. And to some extent, there's the concern that if we look at the building's use and make an exception and say, oh, on this property and in this case, we will go ahead and accept vinyl and make that recommendation to council, that sets a very dangerous precedent. And once you have made that precedent, then it's very difficult in the future to hear a case and deny the use of vinyl. So for the reasons of not conforming specifications for the window, and for the reasons that it just doesn't present as a historic application in the historic district for the entire city, we've not been able to recommend vinyl.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Walker, can you explain why you've chosen to appeal this and wish to proceed with vinyl windows?
Or simply just because of the cost. It's a $5,000 difference, and we have a lot of other work that needs to be done to the building and as well as the outside of the building. So it was primarily because of the cost.
All right, and I mean, you recognize that if we were to grant your appeal, that those windows may not last as long, and you will be in the same predicament in a few years.
Understood. The volunteer team that has recommended the windows, they have a good amount of experience with construction. They've been around helping and supporting our organization for years. Not going to say that there's a warranty that they will be able, or a guarantee that they will be able to help a couple years from now, but they've been around for about 20 years. So I expect them to continue to be able to help support if issues occur with our windows in a couple of years.
Council, anyone have any questions or comments?
So to clarify, we're voting on Harb's appeal, right? Councilwoman Walker? Or
No, we would be voting on Ms. Walker's appeal to deny the recommendation of Harb. Does that make sense? You have a wrinkled brow, so I think it does not make sense. And Diana, please correct me if I'm wrong. If we vote yes, then we are in agreement with Ms. Walker's appeal. If we vote no, then we are in agreement with Harb's recommendation. Is that correct?
That's not correct. If you vote yes on the resolution, that means you are agreeing to the recommendations of Harb to only allow the vinyl on the back. If you vote to not accept the recommendations of Harb, then you could say council does not accept the recommendations of Harb, and that what it is that you are allowing her to do.
Very well. Do we all understand that?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, any further comments or questions on this? Do we have anything from the public on this item?
Nothing here. And again, if anybody's watching on Zoom and would like to speak, you have to press the raise hand button.
While we wait for someone, let me just make a comment that I'm familiar with this building. And while I appreciate the recommendation of HARB and following the rules as they do, and I admire what they do, I hesitate to agree with the recommendation of HARB here in this particular item, given that, at least in my opinion, the building is not of architectural and historic significance, never has been. It's entirely different from a 19th century row house or even a 18th century row house. Quite different. So I'm inclined to not agree to the HARB recommendation. Now, do we have anything from anyone on the public?
No hands.
So once again, Diana, would you please repeat the vote?
If you vote yes to the resolution, that means that you agree with HARB to only allow the applicant to install vinyl on the rear of the building. If you vote no to this resolution, that means that you are accepting the application as submitted and by the applicant.
Very good,
Meaning doesn't have to just limit herself. They don't have to limit themselves to just putting vinyl on the rear, that they can put vinyl on all of the windows.
Thank you. Would you please call the roll?
Rivera,
No.
Washington,
No.
Ritter Dixon,
no,
Nixon,
No, and that is so ordered. Thank you, Mr. Zumbrun, for joining us. And are there any comments from council before we adjourn? I would like to congratulate the winners from yesterday's election to the two new candidates that will be joining York City Council when Ms. Ritter Dixon and I retire from the board, and that is Betsy Buckingham and Felicia Dennis, and we wish them well. I also want to thank the other two candidates who ran. Running for political office is not a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, and I know that everyone pushed and worked hard to be successful. So thank you for that.
Henry, if Council President, if I could hop in just for a second. Just a reminder also, we are primarily a Democratic city, but there is a general election in November, so nobody's won anything yet.
Right. Right. Well, of course, if there is a write-in on the Republican ballot, then obviously there would be a contest come November. One of the concerns that I had yesterday, I was working poll 14-3, and they ran out of ballots for the Republican Party. Nobody at the elections office could seem to make a decision on whether ordinary copy paper could be used or whether the provisional ballots could be used. There was a good deal of time that passed with Republican voters standing there waiting to vote. I've heard since then that there were a number of polls that had that same experience. I have grave concerns about any kind of voter interference, whether it's Democrat or Republican. And I hope that it was only in 14-3, but if not, I surely hope that the county commissioners act swiftly and correct these situations so that we don't have a repeat for either party or any of the parties come November. Is there anything from the mayor?
Yes, thank you, President Nixon. I also wanted to share in the congratulations for the candidates that made it through the primaries, were victorious in the primaries, and also those that participated but unfortunately did not win this time. Your energy and love for York City has been apparent in your campaigns, and I want to thank you for running good campaigns here in the city. Wanted to share just a few items that the Bureau of Health is working with Family First Health and WellSpan to provide vaccines at the Family First Health Clinic right across the street from City Hall, right down from McDonald's on the 100 block of South George Street. That's the Family First Health Clinic, and you can get your appointment for a vaccine at WellSpan or at mywellspan.org. Also, next week, our Bureau of Health is providing free naloxone next Tuesday, May 25th. That's Narcan. So the substance that can help retrieve people from overdoses due to opiates and heroin. They'll be offering this at the clinic at 435 West Philadelphia Street. That's Tuesday, May 25th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Again, at 435 West Philadelphia Street next Tuesday. Job applications at the new are being taken, or I should say job training applications are being taken at the new job center at 620 South George Street, and specifically for ages 14 to 24. And you can call 848-1808. That's 848-1808 to get in your application, or for actually that is for summer career employment, not just job training, but they do have job training there. So it's a great new effort in our city at 620 South George Street. And thought I had one more item. No, I guess that's it. Just also, it's getting hot, starting to get hot. So make sure you take care of your elders and children and pets, and make sure that everybody's taken care of as we start entering this hotter season, as temperatures are supposed to be above 90 later this week. Thank you.
Thank you. And this meeting is adjourned. Good evening.